Thank you. So, thanks for joining us today. We're here to talk about which bird should you choose, depending on your trading style. So, what I'd like to do is go over how they differ. The first, I'm actually going to take this strategy off. The first one I'd like to start with, because it's my favorite way to start my trading day, is the Eagle Trend Trader. So I'm going to hide the Trade Manager, because that is about money management, but we'll just talk about the actual Eagle ETS system. So typically with the Eagle trending system, you're going to find 1 or 2 good entries per day, hoping that we're catching the trend of the day. This is really based on a day trading versus a long-term trading trend. So let me just talk about what happened with the NQ today. We started the day out a little bit. This is as far as today goes. Today's the 16th, and the Eagle Trend Trader fired off a long signal at 9:22 here this morning, and I'm doing everything East Coast time. So I'm going to do a little drawing. That would have been your signal to get long. Now it is a little bit premature. The trend is not totally confirmed. We would call this a more aggressive entry because there is still one thing out of place. We go over all those different techniques with you in the training room and the training videos. But that is a legitimate long entry. Then we get a false entry to go short, but this is not one we would have taken against the green bars. The perfect setup is having everything color coded as it is on this entry at 9:22. So the short is not something we would even have considered. Sorry about that. And the trailing stop, which is part of our trade manager, is on the wrong side of our trend. So that's another reason why we wouldn't consider taking that short trade right there. As the market moves up, and we trended fairly well this morning, we get another opportunity to get long at 11:48. Of course, that is approaching the lunch hour, and one of the things that we practice in the DTS membership is not taking new trades through the lunch hour. So that's something we would have considered passing on. The next trade sets up to go long at 1:34. So as you can see, you had 2 nice setups for a trend move on the NQ. This is an example of the NQ. And the trends, you're going to find about 1 to 2 real good moves a day if you can get a clear trend. There are going to be those days that don't trend well at all and you just go sideways. When there's not a clear trend, you just either scalp the market, which we will talk about in a moment, which is why it's really useful to have a scalping tool as well. So again, the Eagle Trend Trader provided us 2 nice entries, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and each of them giving us about 7 points on that second move, and the first entry, which is always the best if you can get in early in the day, 1950, well over 10 points on the NQ today for the Eagle Trend Trader. So the market opens up at 9:30, and anytime we're usually getting ready to trade, usually around 9 a.m. Looking for possible pre-market entries, but this actually did happen pre-market 9:22. You're going to have a warning dot to get long, and I'm going to point this out to you. Here's your warning dot to get long. The trailing stop from Trade Manager is behind us. That's in a good position for a long. Then we get a triangle to get long at the top of the bar. Our logic counter will tell you exactly where that bar will close, so you can actually place your order ahead of time. Now the fact that we know that this bar is going to close above our band, and it's green, and we have a green filter, and we have the trailing stop behind us, gives me the confidence to take the long signal prior to the band flipping. When the band flips, that's when our true trend has been confirmed, but that doesn't happen until here. So, you know, that's an option, something that some people do wait for. They wait for the true confirmation on the trend. This is a little bit premature, and you do take a little bit of heat, but your trailing stop keeps you in the trade. So again, each one of our signals, the dot is the warning, get ready for the long, the green dot. The triangle is the get set, and the hash mark above that closing bar is go. Go long here. Again, our logic counter, which you'll see to the far right, the live bar in action, will always tell you exactly where the bar will close. If it's going to close on its high, there's the number. If it's going to close on its low, there's the number. So we knew exactly where this bar would close. We can actually set our order in advance before the hash mark even prints. So this is an awesome, clear, defined signal generator for you to know where exactly to get in. Now, using the trailing stop, I'm using one of our customized trailing stops that our trade manager offers, and that would be this little green, it's not a squiggly line, but if you can see it here, it's these lines, this line here. So again, it's behind me. This is where my stop would go, and as my price moves up, my trailing stop would move up. As soon as I'm in profit for, you know, we have some suggestions on where profit taking might be a wise idea, then I would, again, either come to break even and let my runner run with the trailing stop. So that we teach you some options on trade management with the Eagle trending system. The green dots, the green fainted dot line is the Globex high of the day. The orange is the Globex open, and the red faded dotted line is the Globex low of the day. All of those providing pretty nice support and resistance depending on your trade entry.
There were some questions just regarding stop management and money management in general. Can you bring up the trade manager just so they get a sense of you know, what we're using when we use our DTS system?
Yes, I sure can. I'm going to hit Show Trade Manager now. And on the right-hand side, we can put in, you can enter the market either by a risk percentage, what's your tolerance of how much do you want to risk compared to your account. We also have volatility percentage, and you can manually tell the system how many contracts to trade. So using risk, I suggest anywhere from 2 to 4%. Again, it's just something that, you know, everybody has a different risk tolerance depending on your account size. So if I put 4% in here, and we use a stop order for our DTS entries, we can allocate how much of the contracts we want to go into target 1, target 2, 25%, and then the balance would be as a runner. So you have a lot of different options. You can do just all in, all out, target 1, space out your contracts lot size to target 1, target 2, target 3, and a runner, any combination. You can also tell it exactly how many ticks you want for target 1. You may want 20 ticks for target 1, 40 ticks for target 2, and no ticks for target 3 if you're going to use a runner. So set prices, entry at 1950, stop down here, and I'm not positive I have the right amount in my sim account for this, but let's put a stop down here at the trailing stop, and then we would hit submit if we were really going to enter this market. It's got me in with 4 long contracts. I've asked it to give me exactly 20 ticks for target 1, which is giving me. Stop loss is down here, and the rest is a runner. You can also still use your traditional chart trader methods of buy market, buy ask, sell ask. All those buttons remain. We have one cancels other. We have a break-even button that brings your stop immediately to break-even very quickly on the chart. And we can show you the position that you're in, the account P&L during the trade. The trailing indicator, which I think is fabulous, has a lot of different options. The one that we really like is either the ATR, which I have right here, or the super trend. I'm going to hit preview so you can see where that would be. The preview shows you the hash marks, and then if I like what I see, I hit accept. So that changes my trailing stop method to where the hash marks are. The chandelier preview and accept. This is going to be the one that gives you the most lenience. That will definitely keep you in a trend longer, but it will also give up the most profits if the trend has reached its top. But as you can see with that method right now, if we did get a long signal, we would definitely be in a position to take that because the trailing stop is down here at 27.23.25. If there's no more questions on the Eagle Trend Trader, again, their primary thing is that it's going to offer you 1 to 2 trades a day. You're looking for bigger targets. You have bigger stops. Obviously, the trailing stop method and the swing lows for price structure are a little bit bigger on the Eagle Trend Trader. The bars in the background, the fainted colored bars, they're not a signal. They are strictly telling you, and this is more for a backtesting purpose, which bar took you into the trade if you took the trade signal. So this bar was the trade signal at 9:22. This bar, let me point to that shaded area, if you can see it, is the bar that took you into the trade. We also provide you with an arrow to show you the bar that took you into your trade. How that helps, you know, for some people, they just want to know which bar was the bar that actually got me in. We tried to make the DTS as clear and clean as possible, so there was no gray area. And it also helps with, again, backtesting and any backtesting programs you might have. Like we have the Profit Finder that will show you which trades were profitable based on this kind of notation that this is the bar that took you into the trade. Okay, and if I didn't mention it, and I will repeat myself a lot on these different bird signals, there's also audio sounds that come with each warning and setup bar. So when you got the dot to get ready for a long, there's an actual audio sound that accompanies that. The standard sound is, trend, and then when the bar prints to get long, that sound is also trend. Now we do have some guidance on how you can customize this, where it might say trend NASDAQ, and this might be a trend NASDAQ entry. Some of our DTS members have actually customized the audio to make this very clear so they know exactly what chart to go to. Okay, so I will tell you also that Eagle is a great system for those of you that do not like to enter the market too much. Again, it's clearly giving you 1 to 2 good trades per day on any decent trending day. Now, every day is not going to be a trending day, but let's go back a day and look at yesterday real quick. Yesterday was an awesome setup. This, as I talked to you before, the 922 entry was a little bit advanced, a little aggressive, premature, not waiting for the full band to flip, but it gave us a nice entry. Yesterday, we didn't have to do the advanced setup. At 7:03, again, it is a pre-market trade, and sometimes these trends start pre-market. That's something you just kind of have to recognize, that when you get up in the morning and you start trading at 9:30, the market may have already moved quite a bit. And here was the entry to get short on the NASDAQ at 7:03 yesterday morning. Again, it was, and this actually happened very fast. This dot end entry triangle was on the same bar. So that was a warning and an entry signal at the same time. As this bar starts moving down, you will know that that's your entry bar, and you will be able to place your trade in advance at the hash mark at 2722.75, and that one went beautifully. Then we got another entry at 9:41 to get short again. Now, some of the things that Eric teaches in our DTS members room is that one of the things you want to look at before you decide to take a continuation trade in the trend is how long has that trend been going on. And so there's some leg counting techniques that he teaches you. Although this is a nice entry, it does move 1075 down to 525. So it moves well over 5 points, which is not a bad move, but you know, it's not a strong trend move, and that's really has part to do with the fact that the trend has really done most of its move pre-market. So just wanted to show you how that worked yesterday. Okay, so I will switch over now to the Falcon, which is our swing trader. Again, I'm sticking right with the NASDAQ, but I'm happy to show any instrument you'd like. Our Falcon is going to give you 3 to 4 trades per day. It is, and again, these numbers vary depending on the instrument, how volatile the market is that day. But I have noticed that it's about 3 to 4 trades per day, and it's looking for the intermediate swings. Now, if you have only the Falcon, what I recommend is that you wait for a true full clean setup. So that means all colors, and that's why we're really in tune with color coding here. All colors match. So let's take a look at the Falcon after the market opens. Now, again, if I'm going to do any trading pre-market, I definitely want to try to do that on the trend trader, because that's what I'm looking for, is when the trend begins. The swing trader, our Falcon swing trader, if we look at this first signal to get short, there's a couple things wrong with it. Number one, we've got a green filter, and so we don't like to get short on green filters, and we have a green swing line. That's really important. So we're going to ignore that short signal, and then we get a get ready to get long, and we get a get set triangle. And what's beautiful about this signal at 950 is we have everything lined up color-wise. Green filter, green bar, green swing line, and we get long at 2720.50. Takes us right to our Globex high, which if I was a multiple contract trader, I might consider taking one off here, and then using your trailing stop, whichever method you prefer, on the swing trader. I haven't loaded the trade manager on this one, so let me do that real quick so you could see where the trailing stop would be. So again, if you're looking for 3 to 4 good setups a day, this is the one you want to consider. Parabolic SAR is one that we quite often like on the Falcon. It's a customized trailing method that we developed for Trade Manager and DTS. The other ones are, again, Super Trend, Chandelier, and again, if you're using the bigger ones that will keep you in the longer moves so you don't have to re-enter, they also will give up your profit once you've hit your top, more profit. So something to think about. Let me take a look at percentage on this one. I've been working really well with the percentage trailing stop too. And the ATR is still one of my favorites. Okay, so the entry here at 950, if you're a multiple contract trader, we're going to give you some suggestions in the training on profit-taking targets. They can be either price structure, support and resistance, and they can also be fixed tick amounts. But the one thing is, if you have a runner and you want the trailing stop method to keep that runner in, bear with me, then you would have had this green line coming right up, and it would have taken you out here at 1046. Now, for me, I don't normally, once I'm that much in profit, I don't normally let it come back that far. Two things I want to point out. You had up here at the high, after you really got going and you had some profit banking in your account, you have a warning that there's a weakness. This is not an area we want to get short, because that would be a counter trend signal. We really try to encourage trading with the trend. but it's definitely something I consider when I've got multiple contracts possibly closing the position. So just wanted to point that out. Um, if I wanted to get long again, there's a long signal here, but it's not really fully ready because of the red filter. If I wanted to get short here, it's not really fully ready. Two reasons: because the swing line previous is green and my trailing stop is in the wrong position, but most importantly, it's a swing line. These bars are not time-based at all. They are strictly price action on all three systems. So you will not know when they're going to close. All you will know is where they're going to close, which I think is the magic behind them. So that, again, the logic counter on the far right will tell me if this bar closes down, it will close at 27.25.25. If it decides to reverse and go up, it will close at 27.29.25. You know, a lot of people say, so what, and again, this webinar is what one should I choose? It really comes down to, um, how many trades do you want to get in. The hawk, as I'm going to show you in just a minute here, will put you in several times a day. So if you're not into entering the market that many times, if you're looking to get in, you know, one or two, then the Eagle Trend Trader is for you. And if you're looking to get in 3 or 4, then the Falcon is for you. And if you're looking for anything above 4 entries, you might look at the Hawk Scalper. That's really kind of what I go with. If you have the opportunity to have all three, that's the, you know, very awesome. But you can definitely trade these singly by themselves, as long as you are very careful to take the ones that set up perfectly. As you can see right here, not taking these because they did not set up perfectly kept me out of that consolidation chop action. I love, you know, a lot of people are doing really well with the YM and the NQ, especially starting out. They're a little less volatile. They have less risk because of their tick value. They do really well with the YM and the NQ. The euro and the crude oil and the Russell, you're definitely getting into some, you know, a lot more volatility with those instruments. Let's take a look at what the euro did for us on the Falcon. I just want to get back to one other person's request here. So the Falcon sets up a short trade. Let's see. We're going to go pre-market on this one. When the London session opened for the euro, you had a swing trade set up at 243. That moved from 80 down to 68. So, you know, 12 ticks, that would again be a minimum thing we'd be looking for on a swing trader. You have another opportunity again at 328, 76 down to 68. Again, bare minimum what we want to see on a swing trade. But if you look at where we came from, we've been trending down since the high of the overnight session. So taking these entries on the swing trader right at the Globex low might be a little aggressive, and you just can't expect too much when you're getting in so late in the move. Then we turn to go long here at 515. This really doesn't give us an opportunity, unfortunately, to get in. It never pulls back. Once it goes, it just kind of takes right off. I don't know if there was some news there, but it doesn't offer us an opportunity to get in until 554. That's from 22 up until 32, so that gives us 10 ticks. Again, all I would be getting is break even and target 1 on that. Then looks like the euro did a lot of movement today, back and forth. We get another swing down, but never really get an opportunity to get short. Again, there is some advanced aggressive entries that you'll learn in the training room and with Omar and with Eric, where some people might possibly get short after everything finally lines up. I personally don't do that, but I also have the scalp trader to get me into this move. When I see a swing trade set up, finally it sets up here, but it doesn't really confirm until this bar around 720, 740. It never comes back to give me another entry. So here's where the hawk, having a scalp trader on your side, would probably have gotten you into that move. And we'll take a look at that in just a minute. But the 721 move, the 721 bar never looks back. It just kind of falls right away. And it just looks like there's a lot of volatility in the euro, so you don't really get an opportunity to get in there. And then we get a short signal at 68. It goes to the Globex low 62. Again, you have to expect, one of the reasons we put these here, you have to expect that you will have support and resistance at these levels. So something to consider if you hit it and bounce, take either tightening your stop or getting out at break even. And then we get a long signal, but again, it does not really confirm or line up until a few bars later. Again, there's some advanced techniques to get into that, but not something that we would recommend for beginners. Your first entry to get long would be, official entry to get long would be at 1013 candle, price of 1.3302. That goes up to 18, so that goes 16 ticks in your favor. Definitely going to give you target 1 and target 2 for the swing trader. And then, of course, the European market closes, and we don't recommend looking at that after that time. Okay, let me see if I can, I hope I showed someone that wanted to see the euro, what that looked like on the Falcon swing trader. So what I'd like to do is go over now, before we run out of time, to the hawk scalper. Now I've got the hawk on a 4-tick. The hawk is definitely going to give you the most entries. You can make this a 5-tick. Anywhere from 4 or 5 is what we're suggesting. So let's take a look at the London session. See all these entries, probably at least 20 or 30 entries, but you need to consider, if you're just scalping and you're not using the eagle as guidance, you need to consider being very picky about your entry and not worrying about a missed opportunity, because there'll be another one right around the corner. The first scalp trade after the London session opens, the first one that is a perfect setup is right there. The market came back into our pocket, set up a get ready to get short. This is get set and place your order here. That you want to look for 4 to 6 ticks for target 1. I typically look for right before the Globex low if that's our support. And if you want to do all in and out, that's an excellent target. We also do a trailing stop method for this. What I like to practice is the bar high, bar low. So Eric goes over that in the training as well on different options. This is a signal to get short, but I'm here to tell you that that's not one I would have taken, nor would I have taken this one. There's a few reasons. One of the things that I like to look for, especially if I'm just if I'm just scalping without the trend as guidance, I need the bars to come back into this pocket for me. So because this one didn't, I skipped this one, and this one didn't, I skipped this one. Now it comes back into the pocket, offers us an entry right here at 74. It pays only 3 ticks, so it is either going to be a loser, or if you are one to tighten up very quickly when you got that close to your profit target, you may have taken a small loss, but I would have taken a loss on that trade. And then, I'm not even considering, was there news? I'm not looking at the news schedule, just clearly pointing out each signal. Someone asked about the yellow bars. The yellow bars are a sign of consolidation and sideways chop. We do not suggest or recommend taking any entries on yellow bars unless there is an advanced technique that if everything else is perfect, we will consider it, especially if it's the first crossover of our micro and macro line. So I will show you that. Yellow bars do not print on the Falcon. It's not part of the algorithm of the system. Okay, so when we got this short signal here, we're not really considering it. 2 reasons. We have a yellow bar and a green micro line. Those are 2 things that are saying This market is not short. If anything, it's indecisive. We did have a red filter, but that's it. So we're going to skip that short. Then we get another short signal. Again, we have a yellow bar and a green micro line. So two things saying don't go short, so we don't go short. The only time we consider a short with a yellow bar is if it's the only thing that is out of color. And here we go. So at 5:15 we have a green filter, we have a green micro line, and we have a yellow bar. So we're going to take this entry, and it's the first crossover, which is showing us a possible new trend. So we're going to get aggressive and take this yellow bar entry. And there's our entry, and what a good decision that was at 5:15. The other thing, of course, just knowing some basic trading knowledge, we're also making higher lows and higher highs. So another reason to consider getting aggressive on a yellow bar. That is the only reason I would have taken that yellow bar. Typically, I shy away from yellow bars. If you took this trade at 5:15, 1.3284, not only did you get target 1, but if you were using our trailing stop method, you would have taken that runner right up to here. So not a bad little trade for a scalper. About 20, almost 20 ticks for your runner. Why do you not enter on a green arrow? Christian, the green arrow actually prints after your entry. It is there only to tell you that this is the bar that took you into the trade. You're actually getting in a bar early, a bar before the green arrow. You're getting in on the green triangle. So think about that. There's a green dot to say get ready, a green triangle to say get set. The hash mark is where you place your order, and the green arrow only prints to tell you you are in the trade if you placed your order. Let me get rid of some of these arrows. Okay, again, real quick on the euro, just want to finish this scalper out. So the market took off, we made money on our runner, and let's show you one more or two more setups. We had a nice pullback into our pocket. Everything stayed green. This is the textbook setup. Green macro line, green micro line, green bar, and green filter. It doesn't get any better than that. All you need to do is have good money management now. So you have a get ready on the dot, you have a get set on the triangle, and you place your order at the hash mark. Again, target 1 for me is typically the swing that we just came from. Target 2 might be your Globex high here, and or a trailing stop for a runner. Totally up to you. But my runner would have not done very well with this sideways action. It's not like it took right off. Now, so I probably would have gotten out at my runner would have probably came out. Let me just take a look here. Right here. So I got a little better than break even on my runner. And then another nice touch of our pocket, another entry. Again, we are buying the highs, so you can't expect too much. The first trade of a new trend is always the best. We're not expecting big runners at this point. 322 up to the Globex high, 326. And again, if you're scalping in and out for 4 or 5 ticks, you have plenty of opportunities. Here's another one. Can you show the signal sequence when does the arrow print? Okay, Charles, let me do that for you. Yes, okay, I'm going to go one bar at a time. Then we get another down bar. Then we get another down bar. Then we get another down bar. Now this bar, not only does it touch my micro, so I'm very excited about that, it also gives us a warning dot, get ready for a long. And this dot actually has an audio signal with it. It says scalp, so that you can be alerted to come look at your scalping chart. This dot may have started on this previous bar, but if the long didn't set up on the next bar, then it moves with the bars. So the bottom line is this is the final bar that gives you a warning. Does this print at the close of the bar? Yes, it does. The close of the bar, and it does not print after the fact. It prints at the close of the bar. So this is a down closing bar. It closes at 3:05, and you are prepared for a long signal because the warning dot said get ready. Then the next bar opens, and as this bar closes, you get the triangle along with the hash mark to tell you this is where you want to place your order. The hash mark is where you want to get in. We want the bar to close. We know it's going to close at 3311, but we want it to prove itself. We want to have it take us into the market. Prove to us you want to go further. So 1.3312 is our entry. This next bar that has the arrow, the green arrow, is again simply the bar saying that if you decided to take the long, this is the bar that got you in. Okay, all of these print at the bar close. Now, I will tell you sometimes you will see the dots printing as the bar has moved beyond a point of where it needs to, but you cannot take it as an official until the bar closes. Okay? All right. So that was the sequence. Get ready, get set, hash mark is go. Now for the hawk on the CL, I'm going to move that to a 5-tick. I will not do a 4-tick. George, this, as you can see, gives about, I don't know, 20 or 30 signals a day. Again, that's why I'm very picky about which ones I take, because you're going to have so many opportunities. You don't need to take every one of them. So wait till they all line up, all color codes. Wait till you see a clear price structure definition and just take those trades. Okay. Somebody wanted to see the scalper on crude. Now, you're probably going to, you all know how volatile crude is, so you got to be careful. I would definitely practice trading, maybe just the beginning part of the day if all you're doing is scalping. Are the red and green colors on the momentum the same indicator as the dash dots? This is just a filter. So they're similar in that the Falcon has dots and the Hawk has little bars. Bottom line is it green or red? So the filter at the bottom, what you're primarily looking for is the color of the filter. Okay, so let's see. The market opens at 9. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you about crude. If I don't see a clear trend, and if I don't have Eagle, which I do have Eagle, to see the clear trend, I'm very, very picky about entries I'm going to take on crude because, it's just very volatile. So we get a short entry at 9:02. Now, what's wrong with that entry? For any of you that scalp, personally, what I see wrong with it is we have a yellow bar and a green micro line. That's two things against the short. Remember I said I'll take one thing, and that's only if I'm clear on the trend. So of course at 9 a.m. on crude oil, you're not usually clear of anything. But I would have skipped that short entry, that short setup, again, because the micro line, if you can't see it, I'm going to tell you it's green. That micro line is green. Bar is yellow, which is a sign of consolidation and also a sign of possible trend change. So we wait. We get a beautiful crossover of our micro and macro line. We get an excellent pullback to our pocket. We get a get ready dot, a get set triangle, and we enter at the hash mark. Target 1 is typically, again, for me, and this is, everybody has different management styles. The swing that we just came from. The Globex open might be another target, and the Globex high is obviously, you can see, yet another target. Okay, then we come back into our pocket again. Luckily, we don't get tricked into any signals. It keeps on coming back. Now, what's wrong with that long signal right there? Anyone know? We have a red line and a yellow bar. So for me, I'm not interested in taking a long when I have two things saying, possible short. The other thing that I look at is we just broke price structure. So when we broke price structure, we didn't break it fully, but we definitely came down and we closed beyond the macro line, which is another tell of the trend not being real strong. So even though you're scalping, you want to make sure you're scalping with some kind of bias on your side. Okay, then we get another long signal. Again, not interested in it, even though it does work. It's got a red filter, a red bar, and a red microline. Too many things against the long. Then we get another long signal. Again, this is very aggressive if you take it, because even though we don't have anything red, the macro line is very flat. It's gray. So if you take this signal on the yellow bar, and there are those that do, it's an aggressive trade. The one thing we did do that might make you more confident is we broke price structure. We closed above this swing. So there's a possibility that you've got more advanced aggressive traders that would take the gray macro. I personally wouldn't. Okay, I'm going to go on. Okay, here we go. This is a good setup. We go up, we make a higher high, we come back into our pocket, but we don't go too deep. We get a get ready, a get set, and enter at the hash mark. Yes, we have a yellow bar, but it's the only thing wrong. We have a green macro, a green micro, a green filter. That's 1 out of 4 things wrong. So I would definitely consider this trade, especially since we are definitely moving into an uptrend. Entry would have been 93.58. My first target again is usually the swing high we came to, or even a tick in front of it. And then I would have taken break even on the second contract for a runner, for multiple contracts. Again, you see why it doesn't matter? We get another beautiful pullback to the pocket and another entry. So, truthfully, you could do all in, all out every time. This is a textbook setup. Everything is green. Back and back up. Now, this is the only reason why I don't like to do all in, all out, because with a market like crude oil or the euro, if you can at least just get your runner to break even after target 1, you can benefit from these runs that these instruments do, even on a scalp trader. We're just kind of reviewing now. Okay, so after the market opens, we're looking at the ES here. I'm going to do my little drawings to tell you which entries I would have taken. This is the first cross. It's the only reason I consider yellow bars, because the first move is normally the best. So at 9:41, we get a signal to get long. It gives us a heart attack. It does exactly what ES does to me. It comes down and almost stops me out. And then it finally goes. Then we get another signal to get long. I personally would have passed on it, even though it does work. For me, it did not touch the micro line. It needs to come back into this little pocket for me to take another signal. It does have a 1-2 bar pullback, which I know sometimes if Eric's got a lot of good confidence, and Ray, if they have good confidence in the direction of the market, they will consider this a 2-bar pullback good enough. So that would have gotten you in long here. And nice scalp on the ES. Let's see, 66 to 68, 2 points. Not bad for scalping. This is my favorite setup. Back into the pocket, right at support, get ready to get long, get set signal, and enter at the hash mark. 67, it goes to 68.75, which is almost 2 points. Definitely taken profit by then on the ES. and then it hits the Globex low. Of course, now we're, look, see, this is the problem for me. This is the ES market, and this is the entire session. And on the Hawk, you're getting 1, 2, 3 trades. On the Hawk, on an instrument like the Euro or the Russell or crude or NASDAQ, you're going to get several trades. So that is one of the reasons why I'm not in love with ES, but I know we have people that do like to trade it and they're happy just taking 1 or 2 scalp trades for 1 or 2 points, and that works for them. So the nice thing about having the Hawk system is you can do a lot of back testing. Everything you see on the charts when you're back testing did not repaint. It was there live and it stays there. Okay, so on the Euro this morning, we were in a clear eagle downtrend. I'm sorry, that wasn't this morning, that was yesterday. This is where this trend started, was yesterday the 15th. When the trend is clear like this, and it's so clear in that the band is in the right direction, the bars are red, the filter is red, that's a clear downtrend as of 10:32 yesterday morning. If you only scalp and swing trade in the direction of the trend, you have the highest probable setups. Same with this entry here that happened overnight at 2013, and it goes to our Globex low and gives us a double bottom pattern. So at that point, we might consider that the trend is changing, and then what do you know? We get some green bars, first time in 2 days. So the Eagle Trend Trader is a great map, but again, if you don't if you only trade with the Trend Trader and you don't trade pre-market or during the London session, sometimes you'll miss the moves. So that's why it's also nice to have the scalper to get in on the trend. On which one, Flo? No, not on 10 ticks is typically what we're looking for on the Falcon. And again, that is just guidance. The guidance, it's just a suggestion, an area to begin to start with. Personally, I also use price structure. I always look to my left to see what might be in my way. And if I have a clear opening to 20 ticks, then you know what? The Falcon, I might take 20 ticks on my first target. It just depends on, thank you, Sean, goodbye, thanks for coming. It just depends on what's to my left, where were we and where are we going. So we practice, in the manual, in our training videos, we practice of a 4 to 6 tick target, profit 1 on the scalper, 8 to 10 on target 1 on the Falcon, and approximately 20 on the Eagle Trend Trader. And typically, when you're risking that much, especially on the Trend Trader, if you're risking 20, you should have no problem getting 20. And really, to be honest with you, when you're risking 30, you really shouldn't have any problem getting 30 either. 1-to-1 on the Trend Trader is very doable. But again, you have to make sure that you're not in at the end of the trend that has already had so much movement. And that again is why we offer the training program that comes along free with DTS. One of the things that you'll get from Eric in the DTS training room is how to count the legs of the moves and when to consider not taking that next trend trade. Or if you take it, don't expect as much as what you had originally gotten at the beginning of the trend. Okay, well, with that, I better get to my emails, and thank you all for coming. We had a great turnout tonight. I hope that you all take advantage of those of you that haven't, you've been on the fence, that you take advantage of the special, because the Trade Manager is an awesome tool to add to your arsenal, and getting it at such a reduced price along with a DTS system is I think, unbelievable offer that Adam and our programmer have been able to put together, and I'm very happy that we're able to pass it to you. Thanks, Flo and Jerry. Thank you all. There's so many of you to thank for coming, so I'm going to just say goodbye, everyone. Good night, and go home and enjoy your family. Okay. Good night now.